Hello again, I am Blunty. So let's chat about the new Pokemon announcements for the 3DS and Switch that just arrived via a Nintendo Direct. But first, let's look at this. It's a Pikachu butt plug, literally. The plug is in his butt. His butt is a socket and the plug goes into his butt and you juice up your phone or whatever with him. It's not official merch, of course. It's just one of a gabillion million zillion bits of cheapo Chinese knockoff merch, because while the Chinese are great at lots of things, giving a blue bedroom boink about stuff like copyrights and trademarks isn't among them. But it is still amazing. It's a Pikachu butt plug. And I just had to share it. So anyway, back to the core topic. While many were expecting, or at the very least hoping, very hard, that the rumours about a Nintendo Switch-based version of Pokemon Sun and Pokemon Moon would be confirmed by this 8-minute-long Pokemon-focused Nintendo Direct, so that we could finally have what Pokemon fans have spent 2 goddamn decades begging for, a beautifully presented mainline Pokemon RPG on a system not compromised by having to fit into a pocket, or at least in the case of the Switch, far less power and format compromised by portability concerns than the 3DS is. But nope. What we got instead was a basic port of a Wii U game, POKKEN Tournament. A game that on the Wii U received fair to middling reviews and which disappointed both hardcore Pokemon fans and hardcore fighting game fans by being a shallow, uninspired compromise between both. A Pokemon-infected, dumbed-down version of Tekken, which is now being released in a year where we have an actual, proper Tekken game hitting consoles right now. Oh, but it's a deluxe version. Who cares? It's just stapled in DLC so they can relaunch a game they'll want to sell you a fresh stack of goddamn amiibo with. This isn't a favour to gamers releasing this. This is a scramble to use the Pokemon name to recoup cost and development of this failed game from a failed system. So Pokemon Stars now remains just a rumour, the last desperate speculation around which now clings precariously, desperately, clawingly to the rice paper thin hope that Nintendo, Game Freak, and Pokemon Company were just holding it back for a massive E3 reveal proper. Wouldn't that be magnificent? Unlikely. Dashed to, yet again, were the hopes of any kind of virtual console on the Switch, with virtual console releases of Pokemon Gold and Pokemon Silver announced for the aging 3DS platform only. And annoyingly, unlike the first-gen games of the same virtual console on 3DS where we got all 3 titles, red, blue, and yellow, this time the third-tier game, the superb Pokemon Crystal, is missing. Completely. Not even mentioned. So that shat me off too. Then, of course, in perhaps the worst naming a mainline Pokemon game has ever received outside of Black 2 and White 2, something called Pokemon Ultra Sun and Pokemon Ultra Moon, a more awkward and clumsy pair of names I could barely imagine. Especially insulting when there's nothing seemingly ultra about them at all. It's the same game engine, it's the same assets, it's just a new story mode draped over the existing Sun and Moon games. And of course, available only on the 3DS systems. Now there is a bright spark here. Number 1, I very much enjoyed my playthrough of Pokemon Moon. I consider it one of the best Pokemon games I've ever played, and have played them all. So getting more of that is not a bad thing in my eyes. I mean, the game wasn't perfect, there were lots of things I would like to fix about it. Hopefully they do fix it with these Ultra things, but who knows. What I'm saying is, it's just hard not to be at least a little bit salty when what I wanted was to get more of Pokemon Sun and Moon, but on the current, wildly superior hardware with a big, bright, clean, high-res screen and acres of power over the 3DS. The 3DS, which, by the way, was already choking and stuttering to crappy slideshow frame rates at certain points in Sun and Moon already. The 3DS is not powerful enough for the game engine they made for these games. And there is the hope, at least with these being sequels, we can skip the first blisteringly annoying hour or 2 of the original Sun and Moon games, which dragged you glacially slowly through tutorials which handheld you so aggressively you may as well assume they were written to teach a small, heavily brain-damaged, double amputee dashhound puppy how to play. So, to recap. I don't give a cold crap about POKKEN. I got shafted on my hopes of a Switch-based mainline RPG. I don't get my favourite of the second-gen games on Virtual Console because who the hell knows, it's just Nintendo being Nintendo. And I don't even get to play them on the system I'm actually using right now. Oh, and the only good thing, more content wrapped around Pokemon Sun and Moon, and well, it's tarnished by the fact it's still trapped on the dying 3DS platform, probably for little other reason than Nintendo really wants to milk the remainder of the customer base out of every last cent they can in an attempt to sell the quote-unquote new hardware, the 2DS XL. Because we all know not one mother kisser out there would buy a goddamn 2DS XL if they could be playing the new Pokemon game on the Switch instead. I want to be joyful about Ultra Sun and Ultra Moon. I'm sure I'll enjoy the game. I'm positive I will, as a matter of fact. But I hate saying those stupid names out loud, and I hate that I'm still trapped on the 3DS with Pokemon, so overall here I sit next to a big pile of salt and a very small box of fries to dip into it. Most disappointing Nintendo Direct ever. Thanks for watching, I am Blunty, and I will catch you next time.